Catherine from Jayne Catherine on Books, and I'm here with a recent reads video, and I'm combining it with a wrap up of what I read in August as well. Now, I think that this has been the worst reading month that I've ever had since I've been doing these videos on BookTube. I was saying I was getting a bit slumpy with the reading because I think it's because I was fed up of reading from my shelf. So I had that little book haul, so if you've not seen it already, it was the last video posted, and yeah, it's sort of lifted my spirits. I'm excited about the books I bought there. I'm already into, I think I've read nearly 2.5 books already out of that. So yeah, I think it's broken its back. But as I say, and I think really August, you know, the summer months, you've got other stuff to be doing, haven't you? Gardening and going out. And we're not going out so much with what's going on everywhere, but there's other things to do. So I don't think you read quite as much in the summer anyway. So without further ado, let's get to it. So if you remember this, Sut, historical fiction set in York, which is our nearest city. Beautiful sprayed edges by Andrew Martin. I DNF'd it. I couldn't get into it. Now, I thought that I'd be really interested in it because it was about art, although it was historical fiction. It was about art and, you know, wanting to find out how this painter or this silhouette artist was murdered. And this guy was let out of prison, as it were, to go and hunt down the killer. I just couldn't get into it at all. I think it was the writing style. I mean, right from the get-go, I don't think I was really engaged in it. I don't think there was anything exciting for me anyway. And I know David read this as well, and he found it a bit heavy going. So sort of that's two of us. And I know we both like very different books, but there was nothing in it to interest me, and I think I got to about 90 pages and I thought, no, there's nothing much happening. It was plodding along. So, you know, life's too short, isn't it? So DNF. So then I picked up this one. I thought, well, perhaps I need a bit of a thriller, Secret Worth Killing for, and Simon Burton. And I thought, yeah, this is really great. I was right excited for it. And dare I say I DNF'd it. I couldn't get into this one either. I don't know whether it's sort of me that, you know, I've just not been picking up the right books lately. But usually something like this, as you know, I love my thrillers, and it's set in London and everything which I expected it to bring to the table for me. No, I just couldn't get into it. So I wasn't going to waste my time. So then, see, I told you it was short and sweet. The Downstairs Girl, Stacey Lee. Quite a lot of blurb about this lately I didn't notice it at the time when I bought this book, but there's quite a lot of buzz about this, and the US cover is beautiful, and I think a lot more fitting to the story of the book, really. So to recap, it's about Jo Kwan. She's leading this double life. She's a very intelligent girl. She gets this, she was working for a lady milliner, and she was designing hats for Rich and Famous. And she lost that job and had to go back to being a lady's maid in one of the bigger houses in the area. And very much was treated badly there, not treated well at all. But at night she was very much a radicalist, in as much that she was for women's refuge, and she sort of found a voice. She found a voice through writing, and nobody knew who this person was that was doing these, this Miss Sweetie that was doing these, like an advice column type of thing. And I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, I have to say. I gave it 3 stars. I couldn't, how can we say, I didn't have any particularly strong feelings towards her as a character. And, you know, it became a little bit like I didn't care what happened. And for me, the blending of the two roles, you could understand that, you know, I suppose Miss Sweetie was her alter ego, and she could say what she daren't say in real life. And, you know, in the 1800s, you know, that would be a big thing, you know, especially if you were below stairs, you should be seen and not heard. But I just didn't relate, I just didn't warm to her character. And I know it says here it's clever Funnion. Oh dear me, clever, funny and poignant. I didn't find it funny. I don't know what that says about me, and I'm sure that loads of people will enjoy it. I didn't. Well, I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed reading it, but it was no great shake, so I gave it 3 stars. So that's The Downstairs Girl. Let me know what you think if you've read it. And I know lovely Nicole from Girly Girl Bookworm, I know she left me a message saying that it was on her radar. So let me know how you got on. Next, bit of a classic, The Invisible Man, H.G. Wells. Now I can't remember if I'd reviewed this or not, to be honest, so I'm doing it again. Glad I read it. I think it's very much of its time. I think that it's quite an exciting concept, especially for when it was, you know, the time that it was written. I mean, it was born in 1866, was H.G. Wells. So if you can imagine that anything science fiction was really out there and would be, you know, it would be really sort of a bit, oh, you know, behind closed doors. Have you read This Invisible Man by H.G. Wells? Very much that sort of thing. It was very forward thinking. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. I'm glad that I can tick it off my classics list. It got a bit boring. I'm not convinced it you know, it's sort of, it's very much of its age, I think. And you know, there are some classics that you can read now, and I go back to my favourite Jayne. You know, you can read it now and it's still lovable and it's still exciting to me. But this must have been fantastic in its time. I enjoyed it. Glad I've read it, but it's done now. Next, The Unseen Hand, the latest one that I've been reading in the Homefront Detective series. Now, as you know, if you've been with me a while, I think I'm on about book 8 with this now. I really love this series, and I love the characters of Marmion and Keedy, the inspector and his sidekick, and all the family life that happens. But this particular, I think what gives it the extra stars for me are how the plot is, how exciting the plot is, how they work through finding out who done it, as it were. And I found this all right. I gave it 3 stars, another 3 star. We'll have to call it 3-star August, I think. I enjoyed it. I didn't think that the plot was exactly thrilling. It was an okay plot. You could see where it was going. So yeah, a solid 3 stars, and I enjoyed the series, and you know, I do rate it as a series worth reading. And you know, especially if you like your First World War fiction, I think it's a lovely series. But as I say, nothing exciting in the plot front. And then finally, Don't You Cry by Catherine, author that I really enjoy, usually really good psychological thrillers. And this didn't disappoint. but dare I say it was a 3-star read. This is about Nina, and she's recently divorced from her husband, and she's finding life quite difficult, you know, being, you know, when you get to 40 odd and you've been in a long-standing marriage, so she's finding that difficult. She has got a son who is with his father for the summer holidays, so she's all alone, and she goes out on a blind date to this cafe and meets the waitress there, and briefly, you know, just talks to this waitress, and then before you know it, this waitress turns up on her doorstep, seeking refuge. So in this waitress comes, and she doesn't know her really, apart from hello, thank you for me, you know, and whatever, and then the next thing, her brother turns up, all blood all over him and carrying a baby. So really it is the story of the 24 hours of her being held hostage in a way in her own home, with this waitress she hardly knows, her brother covered in blood, and a baby who you know, looks as if this baby's been stolen. And it turns out that this baby belongs to somebody quite famous off the television. And so it's a good story. I did enjoy it. I found it somewhat predictable, and I think that's why I gave it the 3 stars and not higher. I would say it's worth reading because I do enjoy Cass Green's books, but you know, it was all that happened in this 24 hours. Oh, I'm saying her a lot. Usually it's so. I'm doing the thing this week. Looks at I think that's because how I feel. I feel tired. I do. I feel it's been a tiring week. Yes, I forgot. I've lost my train of thought now. Yes, it's very predictable as we're going through the 24-hour period at her house, and then, you know, afterwards, she's trying to clear this brother. It looks like, you know, he's a villain in all this, but is he really? And she's doing a bit of investigating to see if she can find out a bit more about what's been happening, and really she shouldn't have bothered. She should have kept out of it. But I think part of this, because she's gone through a traumatic event really, and I think because of that, it's not the end of it, you know, it's not the end of that story. It's as if she needs to find out more to give her closure on this particular traumatic night, I suppose. So I wouldn't say don't read it, but for me, solid 3 stars. So there we go. What a thrilling August. The 2 I didn't read that are on my TBR, which I just didn't fancy. You've got to be in the right frame, haven't you? We Need New Names, no Violet Bulawayo. Highly acclaimed, but I just didn't fancy it. And Emery Lord, The Names You Gave Us, which I want to read. It was part of my 5-star project. But didn't fancy it. You know what it's like? That's why I don't stick to a strict TBR, because you've got to be in the mood and feeling that particular genre to get the best out of it, I think September will be better. I'm already feeling that I'm enjoying the books. I've already had a 5-star read. So I think that the wrap up for September will be a lot more thrilling. So sorry, that's how it was this month. Let me know how you've gone on, if you read any of those. And I'll see you again next video. Bye for now.